The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, I'm Representative Al Baldessau from Londonderry, and this is The Art of Politics, the only show in New Hampshire where you have a Democrat with fiction and you have a Republican with fact. Going nose to nose, we shake hands in the beginning and we shake hands at the end. Today, I'm fortunate to have a special guest here who has hosted our show. He hosts his own show in the town of Goffstown. His name is Representative John Burt. John, welcome.
Well, Al, I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor. I've been on here a few times with my friend Ken here.
I'm going to shake my co-host's hand because...
I'm glad you got me in with that.
And what I did today was because we're going to have some action today, some explosions.
Oh, yeah?
I brought in my grenade to keep right here, okay? And we're going to pull the pin here on some action that had gone on at the State House.
That's all we have. First of all, you have been away for a while. Where have you been?
Well, my daughter graduated from Mount Ida in Newton, Mass.
Yeah.
She received her master's, and the deal was when she graduated, I would take her on a week vacation to Florida, just her and I, no wives, no boyfriends, and we did. We went down. We had a great time. We went to Hollywood. We went to Fort Lauderdale. We went to, my son lives in Royal West Palm. My grandkids there. We had a ball. It was awesome.
Congratulations.
Ken, I wish you were there with us, Ken. You know, we'd get you some color.
Everybody wish I was there.
We'll get him some color, you know.
And you're from the Londonderry area.
And I'm from the Londonderry.
And you do a show over there yourself.
I do a show. One thing I want to clarify here, because a lot of people in my district think that I'm moving to Florida. What I said was I may be moving to Florida.
You're not leaving.
What happened is my wife's son got a scholarship at the Southern University for 4 years. So we thought he was going to go to school in Florida. So it looks like Londonderry, I might be around another 4 or 6 more years.
Oh, God.
Okay? So
right.
See me at the polls here in November next year.
Well, okay, so you're from Londonderry and you do a show. Now, what we're doing today really is we've got 3 hosts. So we're going to do 1 hour and we're going to play it in all 3 areas.
Yep.
So one show can go 3 places.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now, let's get to yourself. You're from Goffstown?
Yeah, Goffstown. I live in the village of Pinardville, down on Bay Street. I've been there with my wife. I'm trying to think when I bought my house down there, 2002,
and
I think it was.
you have chickens?
We do. Yeah, we got 6 chickens right now. We had 11 at one time.
Are you producing eggs?
They are, but the past couple days they've been sleeping on us, so I haven't found any eggs.
Are they Democrats?
No, usually they're good. You know, big chicken is usually.
The fox are out. So how long have you been in Goffstown? You do a show. What's the name of your show?
New Hampshire Politics with John Burt.
Okay.
Yeah, and
how long have you been doing it?
Over 5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everybody knows.
I've done a few shows with him through Skype.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. I've sat in my living room and we had a chat.
I noticed he hasn't invited me on his show.
Well,
Well, I got to get you on the list.
Well, that's
says it-
because you don't know how to use a computer.
Get me on the list. Thank you. You've only been here 4 times, 6 times.
I do, because there's quite a few people have emailed me asking, who were you?
Who was I?
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting at my office chair one time. My office is down in the basement, and I get this text, and they said, "John, who's the guy on the TV with you?" And I'm thinking, why is my show on? Because it's on once a day, different times.
Right.
Sure.
And I said, well, I think it's Ken Gidge. So I typed back, Ken Gidge. Why, do you know him? And he says, he's got to be a Democrat. Well, he is, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah, well, he is a nice guy. We respect him sometimes.
And of course, this is the Art of Politics.
Yes.
So we're doing one show, so it can be broken up in
And
3
the
different
show
areas.
that I do, I haven't done since December, which I'm going to get back up and running, is called Who's Looking Out for You? And we talk about town
You?
issues. Yeah, who's looking out for you?
God. Who's looking out for you?
That's right.
Are you going to have Ken on?
I had him on before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, matter of fact, they laughed at me. They said, can you bring somebody on that gives the facts? You know, because in my town, they Google stuff.
That's
they're
not
smart enough
what
to use
they
the
told
computer
me
in my district.
in the engineering room. They said it's about time somebody gets in there with an opposing
That's
view.
because one of the biggest liberals in my town, nice guy and everything, he was running the camera. So naturally, anything you said, he believed.
Okay, and we're all state representatives. You've been how many terms?
I'm on my 5th term.
You're in your 5th?
Third.
My 3rd, and I'm on my 4th.
Oh,
Fourth term.
awesome.
So we have some knowledge of what's taking place up in Concord.
A little.
And we had what was called this Wednesday. It was called Hot Dog Day.
Yes.
I mean, this is and
What
it
a
was
great
with
day that was.
John Burke.
Yeah.
And the speaker had his ice cream social. So tell us about, and the reason why I'm bringing this up and why this show goes back and forth constantly is we do argue, we do fight, but guess what? We do shake hands, as Representative said, before and after. And this is one way of getting to know each other. And also other people watching us really realize we're not beating each other up.
No.
So he does what is called Hot Dog Day and had 900 hot dogs, or
No, over 1,100 gone.
1,100 gone. Well, explain
Yes.
to exactly what it was.
Unbelievable. What I do is I have Hot Dog Day, and it's to get everybody out on the front lawn to get along.
Republicans and Democrats.
Yes,
that's
and
what
it's a
I said. Yeah,
nonpartisan
yeah.
because we do. We're in the house all the
Did
time
you
and we're
personally
arguing.
invite Ken?
I did.
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
All right, I just wanted to check. Okay, I didn't mean to stop that.
Yeah.
And
so
then
they
what
got-
I added on NH1 News, they had it on there, is I did add, the other main reason I'm doing it, there's many main reasons, but the other one I included is the staff.
Oh, yes, yes,
I
yes.
said the 3 buildings, I want all the staff to come, and a lot of them do. I mean, my wife estimated about 200 of them showed up.
You have the fire pits out there?
Yes, I got the fire pits,
Can
and
you
that's
explain the background behind those fire pits there?
what happened is I tried to repeal the permit process to have fire. In order to have a fire pit on your private property, you have to go to and beg the government. Well, I'm not a beg the government type of guy on my
makes
private
2 of
property.
us.
So he puts fire pits on
The New Hampshire State House
lawn.
And then
breaking.
now, did the state fire department or fire
Anybody say
try
anything
to
to
stop
him?
you?
Oh yes.
Explain
did?
what happened
Oh,
there
yeah.
and what you did.
You're kidding me.
Yes.
Did they really?
Now, listen to
Oh,
what
yeah.
you told them.
Well, Randy.
You're right on the. You're right. Now we're talking the State House,
Right.
the front lawn.
The front lawn.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Which they
so
have no
Ran-
jurisdiction whatsoever on. But go ahead.
Well, what happened is at the beginning, I'm trying to think who sets the permit for the State House front lawn. It's like the buildings, whoever does the
Right.
lawn.
Would it be Randy, the head of the
Well, actually,
security?
they work for facilities.
That's
The
what it
people
is,
across the street,
facilities.
It's
All right,
facilities.
okay, all right, okay.
They're the ones that set the rules here, and we do.
Okay.
House members in
Yes,
the
House
Senate
members, right.
set the rules for the
Yeah,
State House.
yeah.
We don't have to comply with
So
their
what happened?
wishes.
What happened? Get to the
Well,
punchline.
at first they weren't going to let me have these fire pits, and I promised them I wouldn't burn the building down made out of granite. So they said, okay. Well, 2 years in, I think my 3rd year, the city shows up and says, hey, you're really supposed to have a fire permit. And I said, no. So they kind of laughed.
Oh, wait a minute. That's because your state legislature later and we're your, representative, and we're at the Capitol, and
Which, in my eyes, the Capitol is an embassy.
Right.
Sovereign nation
city
land.
the city has no
within-
say.
That's right. So this year, the city, and I get along with everybody up there, so I want to say, I do like everybody, because I do invite the
And he is a likable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they called.
not like you.
They
Okay,
called and
all right.
ratted me out to the state fire marshal.
Did the state fire marshal come down?
Oh, well, no, he called me.
Yes.
And, I told him that we're going to have the fire pits. And he said, no. And I said, well, you have a nice day, sir. And we had a little conversation.
You're kidding me. And
And so, then a few other people got involved. And as you saw, we had the fire pits.
That's right. We weren't going to back down for
No.
this BS. That's crazy. Everything, there's no tree, no nothing there.
You know something?
The building's granite.
And I'm very safe.
John.
They're built up on
Was he a
stilts.
Democrat?
Oh, yeah.
The fire marshal?
Oh, I don't know.
must have
Oh,
been.
for God's
He must
sakes,
have
he
been.
has to. Oh,
He
come
has to
on.
been.
You have to.
He had to
uphold
been a
the law.
tree
If
hugger.
the law
He
is.
had to been-
Excuse me. If the law is the law, if he likes it
It's
or not,
not the law.
he has to abide by it and make sure you guys
You're
abide
in
by
an
it. Oh,
open
wait a minute.
area
You're
with
Republicans.
cement
Why should you
walkways.
abide by it?
Cement
Republicans.
walkways. You all were worried about, somebody might touch the fire. They might get hurt. Oh, let's not do that. Oh, that's the issue.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, what I was trying to get out of all of this is we get along for about 4 or 5 hours. So
What happened to personal responsibility?
So tell me, let's get through
yeah,
the
let's
fire
get back,
pits.
yeah.
Oh,
Get
well,
back.
then, so I've just added so much to Hot Dog Day, and now it's really a life of its own.
Yes.
We had well over 700 people. More than 1,100 hot
The
dogs.
money raised for this.
Yes, and the
where's
money,
it go?
it goes to, this year it went to the Cachico Valley Humane Society over in Dover.
And how much
Last year?
did you guys make?
It went to WAG out of,
Okay.
it's a dog group out of Ware,
All right,
and then it
yeah.
went to the Concord Merrimack
Yeah.
SPCA. And,
Okay.
Great day. I mean, I was.
well, 100% of the money has to go to them because of ethics.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and ethics only allows.
And you can't touch anything.
No. So if one of your viewers are watching and they say, they like that John Burt, me, and they want to take me to dinner or something, it has to be $25. It has to be under $25.
Well, now, hold on a second. From
Doesn't
what
it?
I understand,
And I love our
if
ethics.
it's over $25, you have to report it.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't
Okay.
think if
Right,
it was
yeah.
I think-
$40 or
Now,
$45,
in
nobody's
his
going to
case,
argue with
I
it.
was standing by John, and then somebody came up to want to give him a 50, I don't know, a 20 or 100 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
John says, well, I can't touch it. He said, right over there, there's a lady from the dog. She'll take the donation.
Yep.
And I thought you got a little nervous there for a second.
Well, like I told him,
I
it was
didn't know
like,
if you were being set up by a Democrat or what.
well, like I told, I can't remember who the individual rep was, but he wanted to give me, I think it was $40 for the dog group. And I said, look, ethics, and I love our
Yeah,
ethics.
head that way, yeah.
I said, and I said, and plus, I probably shouldn't say this, but there's cameras everywhere. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a typical Republican.
I didn't even know
There's
who it was.
cameras watching me. I'm not taking the money.
I don't remember who
love
it was.
that.
But anyways, I didn't know if you were being somebody's trying to set you up or what.
well, I just said, no, I'm not.
Okay, so the
But
whole-
even behind closed doors, I don't touch
So
the
the whole
money.
idea for that day was to get everyone out
Yes,
there.
with the staff.
And then the speaker each year has a ice cream social.
And I went and saw the speaker earlier this
So-
year and asked him if he could do it.
at the same time.
If he could do it at the same time,
So-
because that saves the dog group $400. Because I used to hire an ice cream truck to come up and give everybody a free ice cream, up to, I think it was 200 ice creams.
Yeah.
And then after that, the reps had to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I went and saw the speaker, and I said, Mr. Speaker, would you mind, if you had ice cream social right, off to the side the same day? It would save the dog group, because how this works is I have to buy like the hot dogs and a few expenses, a small stuff, and a lot of the sodas and other stuff is donated. The potato salads, we had over
Yeah.
200 pounds of that stuff.
No, that was unbelievable.
All donated. But the hot dogs I got to buy because they were good. And some of the other stuff, it adds up to about $1,200. It used to be about $2,000, but I got it down to $1,200 now. And the dog group does have to pay for that. And that's how this works. So I don't see any of the money. They collect around $3,000 to $4,000. They pay for the small expense. They get to be there in front of everybody, and they
Get
just
to know everyone.
and
Explain
the
that.
dog groups that I've had, because I'm a dog lover. It can be any nonprofit, really.
Right.
But I love dogs, so And did you see the dog tricks?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah, the jumping, the frisbee.
Oh,
and
it
everything,
was. Yeah, that's Granite State Disc Dogs, and I mean, if you Google their name, I
If
mean, they're
somebody
just great.
is turning in onto this show, and I have these,
Two good-looking
representative from Londonderry who has a show, and this gentleman over here, a representative, has a show from Goffstown,
Yeah, we
Bird
do
and
all show.
Baldessaro, and we're talking about hot dogs and dancing dogs, then we're probably not doing what we're supposed to do. So, let us get to what happened up there that got you upset.
We were in session day. Well, of course, on the veterans' preference, there was rumor that there was going to be some fighting going on, but they didn't sign up because what happened is the federal government passed a law.
No, make it clear.
I'm going to make it clear. On veterans' preference.
You are a Marine.
Well, everyone knows I'm a retired U.S. Marine, but I've been on the
Well,
Veterans
not
Affairs
everybody
Committee
knows.
for 9 years. I carry my own grenades.
And a few other things.
Yeah, a few other. But anyways,
He self-destruct.
in the committee, some representatives try to turn it into a discrimination against women because of veterans' preference.
Discrimination against
Some
women?
other representatives wanted to turn it in and said, we're in the Constitution, it's just setting up a different class of people. But I had to remind them, in the Constitution, the military is there, establishing a military, establishing the
I know, but
commander-in-chief.
nobody stood up to.
No,
nobody
but
stood
because
up to
what
that.
happened is I was prepared. I signed up. Was going to go and embarrass them. I signed up. Then I got the word from
Nobody
Democrats.
was
Listen to me.
going to
Yes, they
do
were.
that.
Yes. Now I got the word that the Democrats were backing it, the bill. I got the words the Republican was backing, and then the HRA was backing it.
You mean
Backing the bill. So I backed out the last minute, and I called a roll call.
why would anyone say Democrats are, as if Democrats aren't in the military?
You have
Please.
far left, just like we have some in our group, okay, that don't care. They vote against the military. There was 30. Why was it 37? I think they voted against it.
But there's more in your group because you guys are so divided up.
Hey,
Okay,
the
so
vote, the vote
let's
was
get it.
331 to 37. So there was 37 people, Republicans and some Democrats, that voted against that.
Yes, but there's 37 people who are still digesting his hot dogs with
Now-
ice cream on their face.
Now,
for
talking
God's sakes.
about,
Give me
since
a
I
break.
gave him a butt kick, and let's talk about you.
Well, what bill was that, in case somebody wants to look that up?
That was SB 55. What it was is
Senate Bill 55?
allowing private employers to establish a policy granting veterans preference in employment decisions. If an employee wants to do this, this keeps them out of court for discrimination, okay, because they're focusing on hiring veterans. Like if you go to Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot, they hire a lot of veterans right out of the military.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but somebody could take them to court in New Hampshire because there's a federal law, but there's not a state law.
Okay.
We're the 18th state now that passed this law.
Okay, what do you have going on up there that's been taking place that you've been involved with?
Well, just constitutional carry just passed out of the Senate yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
On Thursday. So
What's
there'll be a week.
constitutional carry?
You mean to carry without a permit?
Yes, without license.
Without a license?
Yep. So we will
Permit
not.
to buy the gun?
And
No.
No permit to buy a gun.
You still need it, but you still need
You still need to get the background check.
Okay, to buy the gun.
Yeah,
the
so
gun,
if
yes.
you or your wife go to the local gun store here and she wants to buy a gun to protect herself at night, which I support, she will have to have a background check done.
Right.
Okay.
But
When she gets
if
it,
she gets in the car, she has to unload it if she doesn't have a concealed license because a car is considered concealed.
but it's supposed to be, is it supposed to be on the seat? It has to be in plain sight,
It has to be
correct?
open. Yeah,
if she doesn't have a license.
It has to be uncorked, open. The magazine's got to be in the back somewhere.
Yep.
Can't
Yeah,
be near
in the
gun.
trunk, that's how I
Right.
used to
But once
ride
you have a
around, yeah.
license, then you can conceal it,
right.
hide it, and everything
Yeah.
else.
Okay, so you went that far. Now,
It's-
the governor says she's not going to...
She's going to veto it.
Biggest mistake because, matter of fact, what was the case just happened here on domestic violence, and it's happening all over the country.
Oh,
a
yeah,
woman
some
went to
woman,
the chief
yeah.
of police, and was it Arizona? No, not.
I can't remember
I
where
can't
it was,
remember
but
what state.
she was in the
But
process.
anyways, she was in the process. She already had a restraining order. She was worried on the, life or, death, whatever. And she had to wait 3 months. But what happened is she got killed.
Where?
And I think it was in Colorado.
Yeah.
No, where? In her house?
Yeah, it was in her house. Yeah.
Well, she doesn't need a permit
it wasn't
for
in
a
her house.
house.
It was outside, I believe.
She doesn't need
She
a...
was somewhere in the community, wherever she was at.
Now, hold
But anyways, the bottom line is...
I know what the bottom line is. The bottom line is
system
that
failed
you
her.
want everyone to carry a gun with no permit, and that is crazy. But the Republicans are nuts.
But the bad guys already do, don't they?
Are nuts. There's only 2 of you, and there's 1 of me. That's fine.
As a father.
Nobody. As a father.
As a father and a husband.
Father.
Yeah, but apparently we think different. It is my responsibility, wherever I have the right to be, to protect my children, my wife
has
my
a gun.
That's what's wrong with that.
Your wife has a gun.
Because my wife is small and petite. She
He's
believes
got
that
a
she
chihuahua that carries a gun.
She should be able to protect
Turtles
herself.
in the back carrying a gun.
Well,
But I'm saying, you got to let people protect themselves. Today's society.
I know,
but Al, I got one question on the last, that poor lady that got killed. She had a domestic violence order against him.
She was afraid for her life. That's right.
So he wouldn't have broke that, right? Because it was against the law for him
it's
to
against
break
the law. You're right. Why would he do that? It's against
So
the
that
law.
piece of paper should have protected her, right?
Look,
That's right.
I can give you 1,000 reasons why everybody should have a gun on them at all the time. But we're seeing what's happened to a lot of people who are mentally ill, who are getting guns and then putting them on them.
Maine is passing it.
Maine, that's right. Maine is going to have
Vermont's had it for over 200 years. You don't see shootouts over there.
You mean I can go to Vermont
Right
and
now.
have a gun in my pocket and walk around?
I did it all my whole life while I was living there.
It's been like that and they're the safest state in the country. Maine just passed
we're
it.
the safest state
No,
in
we're
the
not.
country.
We're number 3. I think we're 3.
Yeah, we're 3.
Who's 2?
Who is it?
Might be Maine. No,
Maine.
No, Maine.
Colorado.
Yeah, it's Arizona or Colorado.
Alaska, I think it is.
Alaska.
I may be wrong, but I think it's Alaska.
Alaska.
I'd have to check.
I can't remember who number 2 is.
Alaska.
Because they have guys.
There's probably more
They don't have
suicides
strict
up
gun
there.
laws like Connecticut, New York, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Boston.
Okay, all right.
Where all the murders are.
Let us get through this. You guys believe that it's okay if you buy a gun and get a permit to own a gun, that you do not, to carry a concealed weapon, you do not need a license to carry a concealed weapon. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes, if you're a law-abiding citizen, yes.
Because the bad guy won't go get a license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough with the bad guy.
No, but
we know
it's
the
the truth.
bad guy.
It's the fact.
How about, doesn't it stop but when you don't give him a license to carry, the bad guy doesn't get it?
Show me where the issue is. Show me in New Hampshire. Show me where the problem is.
Show me where the air is.
Yeah.
If you believe in Jesus, prove it.
I can show you areas of
prove
chief of
it.
police there resigned because of, touching women and doing other things that they shouldn't be.
What has that got to do
but
with
what I'm
carrying
saying is,
guns?
what I'm trying to tell you
Touching
is,
women,
as a
carrying guns.
Hey, as a law-abiding citizen,
Jeez,
constitutional
you are
right.
not law-abiding.
Why do I
you
have
break
to,
the law all the
Never.
time.
Why do I have to go ask a chief of police for permission? Or why does a woman who's been threatening her life in domestic violence have to wait 14 days?
And you want to know something? If a woman is carrying a gun because she's afraid of domestic violence, and the police know that, and she has a concealed weapon on her, and she gets stopped, and the police are going to go, gee, we're going to take that away from you because we know your crazy boyfriend or husband's going to, he's going to abide by the law.
What you just said makes no sense. What you just said makes no sense.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Let's move on. Okay.
But can we...
Oh, will you guys stop
don't
it?
confuse
you
them.
Can't
Hey,
get
you know what
through
that?
a show without the Constitution.
This is a guidebook to you. That's a guidebook to you. Yeah.
Here we go.
The only reason
And
I
they-
brought this is because he's told me the last 4 shows or 3 shows
You had it out.
that you always post.
I always do. Matter of fact, it's in my
Yeah,
coat.
I know.
So I said I got to bring it and pull this out.
So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an example of what their shows are like.
Okay. And let's talk
This
about
is
the
a-
excitement we had on the floor. Let's change the subject here.
Oh, you
since
don't
he's
want
already
to do
wrong.
that. All right, okay. I
something?
took a beating.
I felt so bad for my friend Ken.
Yeah.
He went to the well all proud and smiling. He was going to fight this bill. Let me tell you what the bill is. SB 266, adopting the Uniform Securities Act. It was a majority ought to pass. It passed in committee. Where's the vote? 15-6. He wants to go to overturn the committee on ought to pass.
No, well, that's not the only one I want to
wait,
overturn.
this is the first one.
No,
He
actually,
got
that's the
his
second one. The
butt-
first one was
This is-
spoofing.
This is in
We'll
commerce.
get to that one. He got his butt kicked. 314 yeas on passing the bill to 35 no's.
All right. And
Now the other one.
and now wait, let's do one at a time.
Okay.
I mean, all right, okay, no, let's do all three. Okay, we'll do all three.
Yeah, you bring them up since you
I
were in it.
took a beating. I will admit that.
You know, to be honest, Ken, on the spoofing, I do agree with you to a point
Right.
on it.
I did too. Only to a small spoiler.
But it was your daughter who got spoofed.
You should tell the viewers
Right.
what spoofing is, and I do agree with you on spoofing that we got to stop it. But this bill didn't do it.
All right,
didn't do
okay,
it.
okay.
Do you want
but
it?
everybody, okay, let's go to the other one.
Which one was that? That one?
Names for businesses. Making it easier to
yeah.
get names.
Oh, that's right. That was the. Oh no, was that the revising banking credit union and trust laws? That was another one you took a beating on. That was
No,
349
I
to 17.
I did three. I took
You did SB 188, okay, which is revising banking credit unions and trust laws, okay, and that there was 349 yeas to 17 for you, okay. I felt bad for him. I wanted to go up and put his head on my shoulder. He didn't have to give him the grade and pull it in.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Why don't we?
Who was the other?
Let's start with Let us start with the securities bill because you did mention that.
Okay, that's the
Okay.
on the next page.
All
yeah.
right. The majority voted for it. Now you have to understand what happened with this.
Yep.
Okay, you have to understand. We have a new person in there who, and I'm not going to mention her name, and I'm not going to mention that her husband is also in government. Don't mention her
No,
name.
but I want you to understand one
Don't
thing.
mention her name.
They're legislators, just like us, transparency.
Well, there's reasons why they
Okay.
do things.
All
Okay,
right.
so
But go ahead.
listen to
Okay.
this. All summer, securities work with these people. Securities work with a group of people, with business people, with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, to clean up the securities, make it easier for the public, yet strengthen some laws. All right. Now, you have to know something about securities. It is probably the best run organization in our government. Mm-hmm. It brought back to the towns and cities $150 million on just one lawful, someone made a mistake and took money away from people and they got it back. All right. Less than 15 people, they're, in my opinion, the best run. They ask for nothing, ever. If you've ever gone over securities, then you see how crowded it is. There's boxes and papers, and I mean, it's almost shameful.
Right.
Almost shameful. Now, that's all agreed upon. So, and everybody's going to vote for it. And then this lady brings in an amendment. She brings in an amendment. And let me read what she says. Commerce and Consumer Affairs Amended Committee puts New Hampshire on the map as having one of the strongest bodies of securities. We already are the strongest body. But anyway, she's to get this amendment in. This amendment took $1.5 million away from securities. The best run organization in our government. They're so cheap that the $50 fee that they charge, okay, other states have it up to $500.
Wow.
They never asked for a higher fee. This person comes in, takes the fee away from them, and does a few other things, which cost them $1.5 million. Now, I got a question.
And why?
Do we reward?
No.
Because it was Republicans who did it, taking away fees.
Let me ask
Let's
a
do
question.
it.
Why did majority of Democrats vote for that then? Are they stupid?
No, we're not stupid.
But they voted with
No,
Republicans.
you're right.
It was bipartisan.
No. Hold on a second.
314 to 35.
Do you know when that amendment came in? That amendment came in the day we were voting on it.
But irregardless, when it came in.
Hold on a second. And it shouldn't have. I didn't read it. I didn't read the amendment.
We have many
We didn't
amendments
have
come
the
in when
amendment.
we're,
No, hold
when
on.
we're
Okay.
executing a bill.
Exactly. I'm talking committee, though. I'm
Right.
not talking out on the House floor. I'm talking inside the committee.
No, I'm talking in committee.
We voted for it.
Right.
And then she brings in this amendment and they take money away because it's saving the state of New Hampshire $50 for when they sign people up for securities. Are you guys nuts to do that? But anyway,
But
I
anyways, the
stood up
Democrats
there.
supported it.
I made the
Are
bill.
you nuts for not supporting it?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is one of the
Okay.
reasons why they
Then
support it.
tell me why
Let me finish.
314 people supported
You
it.
asked me a question. They supported it because another bill came up. All right? And it was basically just to kind of put the money back, all right, for good reason. Okay? So everybody voted for it except me. I go, I don't trust the Republicans on this.
There were Democrats too.
No, it's true. Up comes the vote for the next one.
What was the next one?
It was, I think it was 7-7.
Oh, was it amendment?
7-7, and there was Hunt, who was the head of the committee.
Mm-hmm.
He broke the tie.
John Hunt's a good guy, very
He broke
knowledgeable.
the tie, and they wouldn't put that monies back in. And I was so upset that I got up. Now, I hope I didn't make a fool out of myself. I just didn't win any friends. I made kind of a fool out of myself.
No, you didn't. John, no, you didn't. You did good, John. You did good because 35 people voted with you.
37.
No, on securities, 35.
35, okay.
314 voted against you. Republicans and Democrats. So what does that tell
And
you?
that bill was Senate Bill 266.
266.
Okay,
yes.
and let me, as
I did feel bad for you.
I knew you were going to say this. All right.
I wanted to have
So
you
let
right.
us get back to something that I think
Mm-hmm.
is really important. It's called LGC. You know what LGC
Right,
is?
yep.
All right. That's where they got the $150 million.
Terrorist group, as far as I'm
No.
concerned.
I'm not happy
All right,
with
okay.
LGC.
Now listen to this. LGC.
Mm-hmm.
They win. Securities wins twice, 3 times in the court. Now they got to pay some money back. So who do they hire? The president of the Senate. LGC hires him $180,000,
He's a-
and he's the
$88,000.
president
He's
of
a Republican,
the
and
Senate.
I'm not happy with that.
Okay? So
I
he
agree with
drops
you there.
out of being Senate, and he gets elected.
No, he stepped down as the
He
president of
stepped
the
down
Senate.
as a president, but he still stayed
and he didn't
there.
run for re-election,
And he
right.
had who as president?
Chuck Morris.
Chuck
Took
Morris.
over. He didn't have him.
And
They
Chuck
voted Chuck
Morris,
in.
hold on. Chuck Morris, his business works with the LGC companies. In other words, his business. All right. In other words, he won't vote against them, but he won't exclude himself from votes. If I've ever seen anything as bad as that of what took place. Now, there's just one more part of this, and it's so complicated. Just one more part. LGC, because they lost all this money and they haven't paid it all back, they want to change a law. They want to take out of securities and put it into banking, because banking would not be as, they would not go after them as much. So our paper, the Telegraph, all right, that's why I made such a fool out of myself. The Telegraph
Talking
said,
the Democrat Telegraph.
okay, hold on. Officials at Trust, Property Liability Trust. All right. Officials at the Health Trust and Property Liability Trust no doubt think they can get a better deal with the insurance department. And they're probably right. There is a tradition, coziness between New Hampshire regulatory agencies and the industries they oversee that does not exactly endear confidence in the overseer's process. By taking those risk pool providers out from under the supervision of Gardner's office, which is the Secretary of State, would be like leaving your children home without a babysitter. So LGC, I got up, I did make a fool out of myself, but I'm just...
Now, you should explain what LGC is. It's Local Government Center. in many towns belong to
And
it.
it's like paying for a lobbyist.
It is.
Right.
And they,
With taxpayers'
No,
money.
that's not
But
exactly
they are
what
lobbyists
that's.
for
No,
the
no.
municipality.
No.
Yes, they
it's
are.
to screw the taxpayers
Yes,
as
they
far
are.
as I'm
It's-
Yes,
concerned.
it is.
Well,
They're not out to benefit the
Look,
taxpayers.
look, when you got $150 million, and here's one for you guys, and ladies and gentlemen, the Republicans right here didn't know about this. This I know. During this great fight with the Secretary of State, and we're lucky we have him, I think hopefully everybody agrees with that.
Yep.
All right?
I like
Yeah, I
Bill.
do.
On
We
the
vote them in every
Telegraph,
time.
All right, so as this is going on, LGC is nonprofit. So they run over to Maryland and try to take part of their business out, make it profit,
I did
and
know
only
that.
have a smaller nonprofit so they don't have to pay the money. Guess what? That's not illegal in the state of New Hampshire. It's illegal in Maryland, of which they call the Secretary of State. And when the Secretary of State's lawyers went to court, they said that, and that just about did it for them.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about this. This is very complicated, but as I said,
Well,
securities is not
But
easy.
you have to admit, Republicans and Democrats both disagreed with you.
How are they going to know
The bottom-
all of this?
Even the House Republican
you
Alliance
don't
said,
even. They don't even understand it.
Yeah,
How
we
could
do.
you understand it?
We have people that do understand it, that brief us on
Who?
it when we're reading
If
it.
you knew what take place, you would. After all the information I gave you, and the LGC wasn't involved with it. After you know about this, and after you know
I'm not happy with the LGC.
the
I think the LGC
particular
is a
person-
lobbyist against the taxpayers.
the particular
With taxpayers'
person
money.
Yes.
who wrote this is.
Which one?
Don't mention her name.
No, but I
yes,
already
no,
know.
I
who-
agree.
Don't mention her
Yeah, I know
name.
who you were talking
and
about.
her
Yeah.
husband is.
There's a senator.
And LGC is.
I don't think they do business with
so
LGC.
anyway.
They own a bar in Concord.
Okay, so I was up. So anyway, I went up and I tried to explain what I explained here, which a lot of people are saying I don't understand it. Well, try to get up and sit in front of 300 and something people who are sitting in chairs smaller than smaller than chairs on a cheap airline. You know, they didn't want to get rid of me.
You gave it your best shot on 3 bills, I think. I think you got less than 100 votes on all 3 bills.
Well, in the fourth bill he was going to get up, he did wait.
Yeah, he did wave. Yeah, he backed
goes,
out.
"I'm
He said,
okay."
He's already taken a butt kicking. They had enough.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I didn't know if your wife would have went up there. Or I was going to go up there and put your head on my shoulder and say, "Poor Kenny, I feel bad for you." You know.
Well, you know something, guys. I certainly understand that, but let's face it, you've gone up and taken a beating.
I'm taking
You've gone up and you've taken a
been-
beating. What's your worst? You must have had one was like
haven't-
25, 30.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's bull.
I don't think so.
You don't tell me. Look at you. People
Yeah.
look at you. They know.
I get a lot of respect when I go up there. People
You
are
don't
listening.
get any
People
respect
are
when you
waiting to
get
hear
up
what I
there.
got to say.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Hey, one thing I wanted to talk about on the bill there, relative to the eligibility to vote, SB
what?
179. SB 179. Is that the one, the 30-day?
Do you have one you want to talk about after this?
No.
Because I got another
Yeah,
one.
that's
So
the
go ahead.
30-day one, right? The voting committee, 30-day domicile requirements, meaning you got to live in the state for 30 days. That's the cutoff for the elections, instead of the same-day hit and run voting. Okay, I can never understand why the Democrats do not support that to protect the vote in New Hampshire.
Well, I think the Secretary of State has said that there's probably been 10 people who've been caught
no.
in 10 years.
He said, what did he say?
And you know something?
No,
It's
you're
under
not being
investigation.
honest.
They won't release it.
Almost 1,800 cards came back that the people weren't there. He said, we have fraud in the state.
1,800 cards
He said-
came back, right?
Right, the people weren't living in the place where they
That's
sent
not
them.
true.
No, it is true.
That's not true.
It is true. They're being investigated by
That's not true.
John, help me out here, John.
It is.
That's not
It is true.
1,800.
Oh,
All right, okay.
Almost 1,800, I
Look,
said.
look,
1,709.
you guys want to set it up
What do we
where
want to set up?
people cannot vote, You have taken,
No,
in
that's not
other
true.
states, you have taken, like, would have 3 days to vote. They've taken of 1 or 2 days out, so there's only 1 day to vote. And there's no possible way in some of these states
What
that
we
everybody
don't
can vote
want
in a
is
day.
Martha Fuller Clark
Right.
all year round. It's just her and her husband. When it comes around election, there's 15 people in the House. What we don't want is like Senator Lasky here in Nashua. If you look at the voting rolls, it's her and her husband live there. On election day, there's 4 or 5 other people there.
And they've been there all summer long,
they come
campaigning
in. They come in and work the campaigns from other states.
Who?
They come in
the
and
President of the
they
United
shouldn't
States.
be voting here.
They come in and campaign. You're working for for politicians. They're here working. They're from another state. They got driver's license, cars registered in other states,
you know something?
and they vote in our state.
You don't want to make it easy for people to vote. And
No, that's
all
not
you
true.
can find is when you find
No,
this
that's
much
not true.
wrong, you make it this big. The fact of the matter is, it's not that much of a big deal. You guys took a whipping, and you don't like it.
How come?
Did you take a whipping?
How come?
No,
let him talk.
Oh, no,
you
I
took a
don't,
whipping.
John.
Oh, no, I did well.
You
other
took a
than,
whipping. No,
I didn't take a whipping.
No.
I didn't.
What are you talking about? You guys don't have the presidency.
No, but
They
that
took a whipping. That's what you're talking about.
no.
Now, some of that is because they didn't put a good candidate out.
Right, that has to do with it. Plus, we didn't have the welfare rolls to send out emails to tell them to go out.
God, you guys don't have any candidates right now.
We got great
We didn't have the
candidates
welfare
now, don't
rolls
we?
like the president
who do
did.
you have for
Send emails
candidates?
out
Don't
to
we
get-
have some good candidates?
Oh, we got
Scott Walker,
Scott Walker, Cruz,
Scott
Marco
Walker.
Rubio,
Oh, my God.
Trump, Donald. We got
Excuse me.
some good candidates.
If Cruz
Rick
gets
Perry.
in, everybody's going to have to become a Jesus lover.
That's not
he
true.
He hates everyone
That's
else
not
other
true.
religion. That's
You
what
know
he
something?
talks
That's
about.
not true. No, it's not.
I have heard him talk that way.
You Democrats hate it that somebody is religion, as a religion. You hate it. I'm surprised you don't attack me because I'm a Catholic.
Of course, we Democrats don't
You
go
don't.
to
You
churches.
don't.
Of course,
No.
Democrats don't
Why
believe
do
it.
you always have to go after somebody with their religion?
Listen,
How come?
why does it when you guys take a beating? Why when you take a beating you got to come out and do
Wait,
all this stuff?
who has the House? Who's in charge of the House and the Senate? How do we
You.
take a beating?
You.
We are. So where's the beating?
But you're divided. I don't
But
want to
where's
get
the
into that.
beating?
All right.
Oh, real quick, if you don't mind.
Right, no.
In your 2 towns, can you use fireworks?
Yeah, my town, yes.
Goffstown's trying to well, it is outlawed. There's an ordinance, but there's no fine or anything. They're going to add a fine by July 1st, so we can't have
You're
fireworks.
kidding me.
I don't know how they can do that.
It's in the law. The RSA says that towns have the right to ban them or not ban them. And our fire chief says he got 30 complaints.
Oh, that's crazy.
18,000 people, 18,500 people live in my town.
That's crazy.
And they got 30 complaints.
You know what the complaints are?
Noise.
Noise.
Well, yes. Now, I grew up and I was kind of a wild kid, okay? I used to have fireworks all the time.
Yes.
The people at the end of the...
Do you still have your fingers?
Yeah, I still have my fingers. No, lost part of the
Well,
brain.
our
but,
fire
you know,
chief says you're going to miss your fingers.
Yeah, all right. Well, people do. But the people at
How
the
many
end
in
of
your
the
town
street...
lost fingers?
None.
Okay. The people at the end of my street
Yeah.
at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning...
Oh, see, now that's crazy.
There's
Yeah,
already a law against that, or a
There's
noise
noise
ordinance
ordinance
Yeah,
already.
there is
That's
an
right.
ordinance
And
against
that's what we should be enforcing is the noise ordinance, not making
John,
new rules against
you know
the
what I
people.
can't understand is
11 o'clock, let's make it noon, midnight.
we
Then you can't
live
do it.
in the live free or die state. We've got people that move around gun ranges. I use Londonderry Fish and Game. Londonderry Fish and Game has been there for 50, 60 years, maybe even longer. Okay? People build homes around the border of their property. Now they want the gun range gone.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood, a junkyard was there before I moved there. The people
live at a
across the
place where a
street.
junkyard
There's a
was?
junkyard up the street from me, yes. Okay?
Is it still
but it's a
there?
person, yeah, it's still there. Who am I to move into that neighborhood and all of a sudden, because I live there now, I want you gone?
Yeah.
This is America. You
That's
know, you
right.
can't, yeah, you
And
can't
then
just.
if they upvote you, you're
No,
gone.
but no, he's still there. He's been fighting him. They're going to be going to court soon. But I'm trying to say is, we have firework companies here in New Hampshire. We make a lot of money here in the state. We don't have
We
all
make
these
a
major
lot of money,
accidents.
but it's. I think what it is, honestly, it is a noise ordinance, and what it does, if we could say 11:30 at night,
You do have that.
That's it.
City
No,
ordinance.
Yes,
there
I
are
agree with
people
that.
at
Town
the
is at
end of
10
my
o'clock.
street
Yeah.
into my street who just, you know.
My town is 10 o'clock.
And you want to? I don't say anything because I used to do it as a kid.
Yeah, but the thing is, you must have a noise ordinance, like my town, at 10 o'clock.
Well,
What time's yours?
excuse me. How many people called up for a noise ordinance?
Just 30.
Okay.
But was it the same person 5 times?
Well, that's okay.
Well, that's true. So, but he says he got 30
Dancing
calls.
for the
You know,
Stars
some-
10
He wouldn't
times,
say
you ought
how
to be
many
able to vote
people.
for that.
You know,
But he
it's
didn't
a
say how
shame.
many people.
Some of these politicians, and that's why I'll never be a politician, because I'm
You
not
lost
going to
some
kiss
weight. You
anyone's
look
vote
like you
to
lost
get a
some
vote.
weight.
Some of these
like he's
politicians
dying, doesn't he?
continue to support feel-good ordinances or legislation,
Oh, God.
and it's a shame.
You know.
You know.
Yeah,
It's a
I know
shame.
why you keep winning. First of all, you scare the people.
I don't
That's
scare
number
anyone. I'm a
one.
lover.
If you don't mind, if I need to
No,
get
go
one
ahead.
more out.
Yeah, go
Does
ahead.
anyone have a wallet?
No.
Do you have a wallet?
I have a wallet. Yes.
Yeah, let me borrow it for just
Don't
a second.
put it near him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I need. All right. July 1st, if you do this
Oh, here. You want my cell phone?
and you scratch your head, no, just with a wallet, you're going to get pulled over with a wallet.
Right.
That's what I did in my committee.
You
When
what?
they passed this law,
Yeah.
as of July 1st, you can't have a cell phone up to your ear. And I told the police guy, I said, now what happens if I take my wallet and I'm scratching my head and I'm putting my wallet here? He goes, I'm going to pull you over. And I said, but it's my wallet, not my cell phone. He goes, well, let the judge decide.
There we go.
Well, but I don't think we should have because as you were just saying, we have laws with noise ordinances. We
are-
have
I
distracting
know, but-
laws, and now we're just one more reason for the police to pull you
They
over.
have the statistics. Not only do they have the statistics, many groups throughout the United States have put cameras in the cars for the younger people.
Oh, it's very
and what they're
dangerous.
finding is they're not only talking, they're like this trying to text.
Yeah,
which,
I agree. It's
you
very,
know,
very
so
dangerous.
you
I don't
can't-
do
you
it myself.
You can't do that. No. And today I've got a phone where I can hit it, with a speakerphone, and
You know,
it's just
Ken,
fine.
you all make me laugh. Okay, first of all,
No, you don't. You haven't
all
laughed
make
since
me
you've been
laugh.
here.
Yeah, you all make me
No,
laugh.
we
yeah.
always make it.
Because
how
you
many,
want to know
how
something?
many people does it take
Hey,
to get on Baldessari to laugh?
A young
Look at
kid,
him. Look at him.
a young girl
He
could
says-
go get an abortion, no problem.
Oh,
But you can't go get a tan.
That's,
You
oh,
can't go
yes,
get
yeah.
it.
ladies
Did
and
he
gentlemen,
vote?
ladies
A young
and gentlemen,
girl-
That's true.
We just went from a wallet to his ear
I'm just saying.
to an abortion,
I'm
and
just
not
saying
you
the-
can't get a tan.
The laws that you
That's
Democrats
how
pass.
nuts you guys are.
The laws that you Democrats
That's
pass
why
are
this show
unbelievable.
works, is because I call you on that.
Did you vote for the
I'm
the
not
cell
talking
phone?
to you
Did
anymore.
you-
I'm
Let
talking
me pull
to
a
him.
pin. Let
I'm
me
not
pull a
talking-
pin.
I'm talking to you. Here we go.
Did you vote for, I bet you voted against the parental notification bill.
I voted for that.
Kids can go get an abortion there without parental consent, but don't go tanning. Don't be on your phone.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
Under 18, you can't.
I think I have something better than that
What's
that you
that?
guys voted
What's
for.
that? Good.
Are you
Bring it
ready,
out.
ladies and
Bring it out.
gentlemen?
We're ready.
This you're going to love.
What is it? What page
Because
you want?
I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to be there when the door opens up with about $5,000, and I'm going to make about $250,000. Listen to this. Now, names, all right? Names for businesses.
Yes.
They want to make it easier to get names for businesses.
Right.
Make it easier. So the bill is written. I was there when they were writing the bill
This
because
was
it
the
was
one
in
you
our
backed
committee.
down. This is the one
It
you
was
backed
this-
down, right?
No.
Oh, no, you did speak.
No, I
You
did
got a
talk
beat-
talk
and
on
you
this
got a
one.
beating on that one.
Are
That's right.
you ready for this? With
Do you remember
this
what the vote
bill,
was on that one?
I
didn't write it
will
down.
be able to go up and get Walmart with 2 L's.
Mm-hmm.
I will be able to get Walmarts with 1 S.
What's the bill?
I will be able to get Walmart with 1
What's
L
the bill
and
that
1
you're talking
S.
about? What's the bill?
It's
260.
223.
Oh, what-
Senate bill.
Okay,
223.
Senate bill.
Okay, how about let's go.
223.
I think so. Is it? Yeah.
Relative to the name availability for business
Yeah, it's a Senate
organizations.
bill.
Okay.
Also, Holiday Inn, right? Holiday Inns. I can have it. Holiday Inn, take 1 N away. Now, I got a question to ask you. Is that going to bring more business up here to the state of New Hampshire? Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donut. Starbucks. Starbuck. Now, I got a question to ask you. Is that a little too close? Targets. Not Target. Targets, you can get it. Does that make any sense to you? Any sense at all? Make it easier to get names. You know who's going to make money on this one?
Well, the Secretary of State.
The lawyers.
The state.
Oh, yeah.
The
Plus
lawyers are going to
state.
make money on this.
Yeah, but you want to
And
know
you
something?
guys
Well, how can
voted
they
it
make?
down.
No, wait a minute.
Lawyers
hold
don't
it.
make any
voted
money.
for it.
Hold it.
Lawyers won't make
You know
money on
something?
that.
No, wait. He's saying this, guys. Here, let's bring the facts out now. The committee vote was 15-4.
Right.
That means Democrats voted for that also.
That
Okay,
is
so
correct.
let's bring this out.
That
That
is
was a
correct.
nonpartisan vote.
That
Now,
is
what did they
correct.
say in your
You
caucus?
know something?
You keep saying you guys.
Since I have
Sensible Democrats in that committee
no,
voted
they're not
for it.
sensible. Since I have a few of
He hates the truth.
Now, what did you guys say in caucus? You must have spoke about it.
Yeah. Why did you support
I
it?
went nuts over it. I said, "What are you guys all
but
crazy?"
the Democrats voted
you
for
can
it.
put an S. I don't listen. I went against the Republicans. I went against the Democrats, and this is the one I took the beating on. And I said, "Are you telling me anyone's business out there? You're going to put an S in front of it? Walgreens." Add an L, you can get Walgreens. I swear to God. Walgreens, by the way, it's Walgreen. You can get it because you put an S
Then
there. Does
why-
that make any sense to you?
Then
Is that going
why-
to do anything? What are you,
then-
Baldessaro? You got a business? You got a business?
Yeah, I got a business.
Bert
I
or
mind my
Bert's?
business.
Yeah, it's Bert.
Hey,
Bert.
I mind my
Bert's
business.
Tree Service. That's it. Put an S. I got a question. Will that bring any business in?
I don't think it'll hurt me.
You don't think it'll hurt
No.
you? They put something in there. Bert's Tree Service with an S?
If that's somebody's last name, why should you stop them from using their last names? If
We're
his is
not
Bert
talking
and they're Bert,
about the last
but what
name.
I'm saying,
We're
if his is
talking
Bert
about a
and
business.
somebody else's name is Bert's,
We're
why should he
talking
be able to
about
use his
you
name?
know something, you guys are all nuts.
Then why did it pass
know-
Republicans and Democrats if we're all nuts? It sounds like you're nuts. You're the only
Well,
one.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I swear to God.
Hold this grenade. Hold it.
Okay, hold on.
Hold the grenade. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the truth. I'm going to
Yeah.
get $5,000. I'm going to get all the names that I mentioned, and I'm going to take the names. I'm going to send them to wherever, and I'm going to say, "You give me a couple grand, you can have it."
If you see a
you're
masked
gonna-
man, if you see a masked man in CVS here in Nashua, it's him looking
Yes.
for 5,000.
Well, people do that now.
Yeah, that's right.
You know something?
Why don't you be truthful?
We're trying to get more people to come up for business, do businesses.
Right.
You own a tree service. It's Bert or Bert's.
Well, I did own it.
You
Sold
did
it. Yeah, it's Bert's Tree Service.
Bert's.
used to be.
So
Yep.
somebody comes along after all the years you put into it,
Yep.
Bert Tree Service, uses sort of your logo, all right, and takes your name, basically,
That's not what the
screws
thing,
up,
Bill, is. That's
does
not-
something wrong, who are they going to
not-
blame?
That's not what the bill
Who are
is
they gonna
all.
come to?
Even the Secretary of State said it's not, that they won't get approved. You know something? All the Secretary
That's
of State
not
said,
true.
we're putting ourselves in line with Delaware and all these other states that businesses
you're
are going
not.
to.
I mean,
No,
can
you're
he
not.
still deny?
Yes, he can.
He
Yes.
doesn't want it.
Yes,
No,
he
he
can.
can't.
He still can deny
No, he
it.
can't.
He
He
can.
cannot. He cannot. If he denies anything at all, then it's going to go right back to where it was before. So, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
but the Secretary of State has that control.
you passed a bill whereby if you
At
wanted
present,
to
the
fight it, you could
Secretary of
get
State's
Walmart's.
office will
Walmart with two L's.
Now, hey, let me read something to you.
Does
here.
that make any difference? Does it make any sense?
Well, it does to a point.
Hey, let me read what the committee said here, Republicans and Democrats. The committee believes that this bill will greatly improve the process of new business registration in the state. At present, the Secretary of State's office wields significant discretion in its approval of name availability for new business registrants. During testimony, the committee learned that an alarming percentage of initial applications are rejected due to the subjective and unclear standard utilized by the Secretary of State's office. While the current process is intended to avoid name confusion, testimony from businesses as well as Live Free and Start indicated that despite the best of intentions, the current guidelines were an impediment to new businesses.
Yeah.
Now, many businesses came in there and they had no issues. They testified.
I'll tell. No,
They
no,
even
they
said-
came in. It was in my. It was. We're Consumer Affairs. It came in. Look, if you think anybody should have
were you the four?
Walmart
One of
by
the four?
adding. Wait a minute.
But I
by
think they're
adding
going to
one
deny
L,
that.
If you think we should have Walgreens with 2 L's.
You know, I'm willing to bet Walgreens is copyrighted.
They're not.
I can. I'm willing to bet Walmart
be able
is
to go
too.
up there and get it.
Now let me ask you: 15 out of 19 people in that committee that were there at that day, only 4 voted against it. 15.
That's correct.
So that meant there's probably about 10 Republicans,
Yeah.
and the rest, maybe 5 Democrats supported
No, I think it was there was I think 2 Republicans who voted against that, and 2 Democrats. I was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a nonpartisan bill.
You know
And
something?
where's the minority report?
It wasn't that important. Why? If it
You
was
know
that
they wanted me to
important,
write one.
why didn't you do it?
Because how do you write something stupid like this? It's so
But
stupid.
other reps would understand.
How in the world can you guys think by adding an S or taking an S away that you can get the name?
Well,
by law.
you know, John Hunt is one of the best chairmen, I think,
law,
up there. Very professional
By
individual.
law, if the Secretary of State denies me that with just an S or taking one L or putting one L in, he's breaking the law.
You know,
because the law is really
the
clear.
chairman of that
And
committee-
guess who did this one?
Who?
Guess who was the sponsor of this one?
Wow.
The same lady who was the sponsor of the last
Yeah.
one.
Okay. Well.
Oh, now that you should have told me.
Yeah. Now
That would have swayed my vote.
now she's also a chairman of the business caucus there, so apparently a lot of businesses must have an interest.
Oh
in
yeah.
it.
Well, excuse me. Let's get something straight there. She's there 6 months. I'm there 8 years, and you think she knows a little bit more about this.
And
than
how
me.
did she end up on
And
your
I got-
chairman of
Yeah,
your
she
committee?
got thrown out of another committee.
Right.
That's how she got in there.
The chairman
Yeah.
of your committee,
Oops.
John Hunt, been around a long time, and he works hand in hand with Democrats and Republicans. You got to admit that, right?
Well,
Is he a fair man?
Let us bring something up. First of all,
You
when
don't
you
wanna say
when
he's a
you
fair
when you
man.
talk of business, I think of business people. When you talk of business, what they're talking about is an organization that wants business to be as they want it. And it's not always what you want it, but we have 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. So where can people get in touch with you? And by the way, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And you're from
Goffstown.
And Goffstown, please, you know.
Yeah. No, to get a hold of me, just Google my name, Bert, or look me up. BertNH.com is the best way.
That's the best way.
That's my website. Yep.
Okay. Yourself.
John, I'm an easy guy. You know, like John and I are on Facebook. I have Lincoln. I have.
You're on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm on
All right,
Facebook.
okay,
I'm on
you gotta
Twitter.
mention Facebook.
My website is www.albaldessaro.com. You call me at 425-6997. I live at 41 Hall
Yeah,
Road,
listen,
Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Drop over.
Stop by and
Drop over for coffee.
if you have a complaint, come by and see me. If you see the car.
I swear to God, I'm going to get a bus of people.
I am not intimidated. If people vote me in, I'm an open book to you. I have nothing to hide.
He's an
read John?
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
You know?
he's an open
Democrats
book.
are scared.
He's an open book, and he brings in a grenade. Open book. And my name is Ken Gidge.
That's
and,
the stress.
I'm one of the founders of this show, The Art of Politics. We do hope you like it. Now listen, if you don't like what we have said, you may have 5 minutes to sit right there and give us hell. Or if you like what we said, you may come in if you like, and you may tell us that you like us. And we might even keep you in as a guest if you like us.
right.
But if you don't, we might throw you out.
And if you hate me, I'm going to keep them on
That's right.
forget.
All you have to do to get me is go to Gidge World. I'm also on Instagram. This is something new. Instagram's really great.
I got to look that
Yeah,
up.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram
Facebook
also.
also. And I'm an artist, as everyone knows.
A con
artist. And by the way, one quick thing. I did an art bill. Right? It goes to the Senate. I have 8 people. They put on 14 people. And do you know, I'm not sure I even got on that committee.
He
Can you
probably
imagine
didn't.
that?
He's not well by the Democrats. He's not liked.
Republicans.
Republicans like him.
The Republicans don't like me. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Ken.
It's been fun.
Have a
We're
good
gonna
weekend.
do
John,
this.
it's always a pleasure.
This is
Yeah.
Goffstown, Londonderry, Nashua.
And I feel bad for my friend.
That's right. There we
See
go.
you again.
Yeah, okay. See you next time.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.